Wii Sports is essentially one of the best-selling tech demos of all time. This is 5 short mini-games in a trench coat meant to show off what in the world a motion control is and convince your parents that video games are something they could be good at. I'll give boxing, bowling, and golf points for having some depth, but tennis would often boil down to just flailing your arms, and baseball isn't fun by yourself. 4 of these games control the same, with a swing of a Wii remote and maybe a couple buttons pressed if you're lucky. I'm not sure Wii Sports would have reached any level of success if it wasn't bundled with the majority of Wiis. But I think I can speak for most people when I say this is one of the most memorable, most defining titles in the Wii library. It's all because Wii Sports is charming. You know, what exactly is charm? I feel like charm is a term that gets thrown out a lot without any real meaning. I asked my friends for a list of games they thought were charming. The list was as follows: Earthbound, Refunct, Spiritfarer, Omori, Celeste, Little Inferno, Grow Home, The Last Campfire, Mario Galaxy, World of Goo, Cave Story, Muck, Moonlighter, Presentable Liberty, and Crypt of the Necrodancer. This is as scattered as data gets. Charm is definitely not an easy definition like funny dialogue, thick atmosphere, or an emotional story, because Muck has none of those. So is charm just a feeling? Something ethereal that lies beyond game mechanics and coding? Probably. But looking at all of these games, I think I figured something out. Charm is finding effort where effort is not expected. Looking at the things we find charming, this definition encapsulates all of them. The item descriptions of Earthbound and Undertale are dripping with comedic nods and over-exaggeration. In other RPGs, and even within these journeys, you would just get a list of stats, maybe some resistances if you're lucky. So to click inspect and see some lame puns warms you up a little bit. A lot of stories can certainly try to bring out your emotions, but when the cute-looking game Spiritfarer manages to break you, it's kind of impressive. You'd expect an on-edge, tense atmosphere from a horror game. So then why did the crushing emptiness of space hit me in the same game where Mario turns into a bee? It's not just going the extra mile here. If that was the case, almost every polished game could be considered charming. Rather, it's the way the devs surprise you with little tidbits on areas of a game that shouldn't even be focused on, almost as if the game itself doesn't consider them important. Now back to the main game at hand, Wii Sports. Like I said before, Wii Sports is just an athletic-themed mini-game compilation. It's not realistic enough to compete with titans like FIFA and Madden, nor does it have the same wacky gameplay of the Mario cast becoming violent criminals in Strikers. What it does though is take an experience you expect nothing of and cram it with a bunch of little Easter eggs and extra touches. It's the fact that you can throw a bowling ball backwards into the crowd as they all jump in terror, that the final boss of boxing is the same guy that trains you. Matt is such an intimidating figure across all the games that he's become just as iconic as most other Nintendo characters. If you want to skip the 100-pin challenge, just roll the ball down the railing. This literally doesn't have to exist. It's so obscure, so terribly unrealistic, and yet it exists. Because you expect this simple sports game to be such a barren package, every little bonus is a huge hit of charm. It's what transforms this motion control tech demo into Wii Sports, a game remembered fondly to this day. I'm not really satisfied with this answer. Don't get me wrong, these things still add a lot of personality to the game, yet I wouldn't say that's why I have such good memories of Wii Sports. Matt became an internet meme recently, and I'm not sure I cared about him much as a kid. I didn't know the 100-pin trick existed until doing research for this video. No, there's another element here that's basically one half of the package and that I've been completely neglecting this whole time: the Miis. The Mii Maker was such a genius idea. A customizable little avatar with just enough detail to make whatever you want while still being simple enough to complete your creation in 30 minutes or less. It's like a digital caricature. I had tons of these with all of my family members, Nintendo characters, and imaginary gremlin people. I know tons of people who made Obama and Mitt Romney and famous video game character Hamburger. This is a whole game in itself, and it's fundamentally intertwined with Wii Sports. Wii Sports takes the Miis you make and places them into the events. All of a sudden, this isn't just a simple game of tennis, it might be your parents versus the cast of Family Guy. It's not about just throwing the bowling ball backwards, it's about your digital self causing as much chaos as possible. You start giving stats to your baseball players, marking your uncle as a power hitter and being ecstatic when Santa Claus makes it to first base. It's almost like playing with action figures. Sure, none of these things are real, nor do they have any actual impact on the game, but it's kind of fun to think about it that way. The game comes pre-packaged with all the characters you could ever need. You never have to make custom Miis, it's not expecting you to. The option to do it isn't even within the game itself, but you choose to do it just to give it an extra kick of personality. You can make it funny, intense, and I'm sure you could try to make it emotional, but regardless of what you do, Wii Sports is the only game where you, the player, create charm. Hey guys, hopefully that wasn't too hard to understand, but I think I was onto something here. If you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!